Good morning, students. Welcome to all of you in the live online class 10, subject English, and the topic for today is a poem from your first guide. And the title of the poem is A Tiger in the Zoo. And I have begun to teach you this poem since yesterday, and you know that there are 5 stanzas in this poem, and I have taught you 3 stanzas, and remaining 2 stanzas will be taught to you today. So, students, first of all, I want to ask you a question: that what is the name of the poet of the poem "A Tiger in the Zoo"? So that's the reason that I didn't mention here the name of the poet. I want to check whether you listened yesterday very attentively or not. You need to tell me the name of the poet of the poem A Tiger in the Zoo. Okay. So students, you know that in this poem, A Tiger in the Zoo, the poet mentions about 2 types of tigers. Number one, a tiger who is captured in the cage and whose freedom is completely restricted, and another tiger who is absolutely free in the forest and can go everywhere, can jump everywhere according to his own choice. So I taught you 3 stanzas yesterday, and if you remember, I taught you that a tiger who is captured in the cage, his freedom is completely restricted and he is not able to move anywhere. He can walk only a few steps inside the cage and he is not happy there. He is angry and his lower part of legs are very soft, like a velvet, and that is the reason when he walks, then there is no sound because of walking. It means that he walks very silently inside the cage and he remained very silent there. And whether he is not happy inside the cage, however, he is forced to be silent inside the cage. On the contrary, the tiger, who is absolutely free in the forest, is sitting under the shade of a tree and waiting very secretly and silently for any wild animal. And when for a long time there is no wild animal there, and what is the another step of the tiger? The tiger moves from there and he moves near the water hole. Water hole means water body or source of water. Why? What is the reason? Actually, the tiger imagines that near the water hole, near the water body, surely any wild animal would come to drink water, and at the same time, the tiger would attack on him. So that is the reason that, on the contrary, a tiger who is absolutely free in the forest, first of all, he remains waiting very secretly and silently for any wild animal. And when for a long time there is no wild animal there, and he moves from there through the long grass and just reach near the water body, because his imagination is that surely near the water body any wild animal like plum deer, plum is pleasantly fat deer, would come there to eat, drink water, and at the same time the tiger would eat him. Then in the third stanza, I taught you that a tiger who is absolutely free in the forest, according to the third stanza, at the edge, at the corner of the forest, there are some houses. And around those houses, the tiger is snarling. Snarling means roaring. Around those houses, the tiger is roaring and bearing his white fangs, his claws. And the tiger is showing his long and sharp teeth of white color and also showing his claws and terrorizing the village. Terrorizing is frightening the villagers and means showing his long and sharp teeth of white color and also showing his claws. He is frightening the villagers. So these were the 3 stanzas I taught you yesterday. And students, in the beginning, you know that I asked you a question and you need to tell me the name of the poet. And many of the students have sent me answers, and your answer is absolutely correct. Leslie Norris. The poet of the poem is Leslie Norris. Now, students, as you know that there are two stanzas remaining to teach you. So today I'll begin to teach you the fourth stanza. Well, listen very attentively. I have also written these stanzas on the board, and you may see in your book also. Okay. So stanza number 4 is, but he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. But he is locked in a concrete cell. Here he stands for the tiger. But the tiger is locked. But the tiger is bounded. But the tiger is locked in a concrete cell. In a cell which is made up of concrete. Cell means actually cell means a small room for prisoners in the prison. A small room for prisoners in the prison cell. And concrete made up of stone, cement, etc. So you know that a cage inside which a tiger is closed. The cage is also known as cell here, like a jail, like a prison for the tiger. So, but he is locked. But a tiger who has been captured, he is locked, he is closed inside the cage, and the cage is like a cell for him. The cage inside which the tiger is closed, the tiger is locked, the cage is like a jail for the tiger, and the cage is made up of concrete. You know, his strength behind bars. His strength means power. Behind bars, here bars is for jail, prison. You know that a tiger is a powerful animal. His strength, but you know that a tiger who is closed inside the cage, his power, his strength behind bars means restricted inside the jail. He is not able to go anywhere now because he is closed inside the cage. He is closed inside the cage. He has been locked inside the concrete cell. So that is the reason that the tiger, in spite of being very powerful animal, here is not able to move outside of the cage and is not able to jump anywhere according to his own choice. Is not able to jump anywhere and is not able to attack anyone. So that is the reason. Once again, but he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars. Here in this stanza, the poet mentions about a tiger that is locked inside the cage. He stands for the tiger. But the tiger who is locked inside the cage is like a concrete cell. The cage is made up of concrete, made up of cement, stone, etc. And the cage is like a cell. The cage is like a jail for him. And you know that a tiger is a powerful animal, but his power is restricted inside the cage. Stalking the length of his cage. Stalking means walking. Stalking, walking. He can walk only the length of his cage. He is not able to go outside of the cage. He can move only in the length of his cage. He can move only inside the cage. And ignoring visitors. Ignoring visitors. You know that many people go to visit the tiger in the zoo. Many people used to go to visit the tiger in the zoo. But you know that the tiger doesn't take interest to see anyone. People very interestingly want to see the tiger that is inside the cage. Listen very attentively, students, and only you will be able to understand the meaning of these two last lines. Okay, you know that people are very interested to go to the zoo, and whenever they find an opportunity to go there, then they very interestingly want to see the tiger that is locked inside the cage. Because you know, everybody knows very well that the tiger cannot jump outside of the cage and the tiger cannot attack anyone. You know that a tiger who is absolutely free in the forest, anyone would not like to go to the forest to see any wild animal like a tiger. Anyone would not like to go to the forest to see the tiger, because everybody knows very clear that when they go to the forest to see the tiger, then the tiger would surely attack him or her. But you know, a tiger who is absolutely captured in the cage, he cannot harm anyone because he is restricted there, he is closed there, he is locked there, and his all power is behind the bar, behind the jail. So whenever people find opportunity to go to the zoo, then they very interestingly want to see the tiger there. But the tiger is not interested to see anyone. The tiger ignores the visitors, visitor, tourists, and the people who goes to see the tiger and ignore, to pay no attention, The tiger did not, or the tiger does not want to see anyone. So he ignored everyone. Now the last stanza. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Students, listen very attentively the explanation of the last stanza. He hears the last voice at night. Here he also stands for the tiger, and the tiger who is locked behind the bars, the tiger who is closed inside the cage. Hears means listens. The tiger who is closed inside the cage listens the last voice at night. At night, he is able to listen the last voice. Which voice? The patrolling cars. The patrolling cars. You know that at night there are some people whose duty is to take around the city, take around the lanes. Okay, so when they are taking around the city, and when they are driving the car, then it is the midnight, maybe the time of midnight. So these cars used by those persons whose duty is to take around at night for the safety of the people, for the safety of the population that resides there, is known as patrolling cars. The cars that is used by those people is known as patrolling cars. Have you understood my point or not? Okay, so patrolling cars. So the tiger who is closed inside the cage can listen the voice of patrolling cars at night. It means that here in the last stanza, the poet mentions about the tiger who is closed behind the bars, who is closed inside the cage. You know that a tiger who lives absolutely free in the forest cannot listen the voice of the patrolling cars, because the forest is just away from the city. The forest is away from the city, and in the forest, people doesn't reside, and in the forest there is no voice of patrolling cars. So that is the reason that the tiger who is closed and who is locked inside the cage can also hear the last voice at night of the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes. The tiger who is closed behind the bars and inside the cage is not able to go outside of the cage. He can only stare. Stare means to look very seriously or very attentively. To look very seriously or very attentively. We can also say in another word, gauge. He can only gauge. He can only see very interestingly, very attentively and seriously with his brilliant eyes. With his brilliant eyes, part of body, and brilliant, actually the meaning of brilliant is intelligent. But can you tell me, students, can you tell me here what is the meaning of brilliant? With brilliant eyes, parts of body, a tiger has two eyes, but you know that with his brilliant eyes, brilliant means intelligent, but here the meaning of brilliant is not intelligent. So the tiger who is closed inside the cage, he is staring, or he can stare only, and he can look very seriously and attentively with his brilliant eyes. Very good. There are some students who are sending answers, and many of the students are replying absolutely correct answer. Shiny eyes. So with his shiny eyes, because tiger has shiny eyes, so with his shiny eyes, he can only stare where? At the brilliant stars. He is not able to move outside of the cage, but he can only gauge, he can only look very seriously and attentively towards the brilliant stars. Stars, but brilliant here, brilliant means here also once again shiny stars. So his eyes are shiny, stars are shiny. His eyes are shiny, stars are shiny. So the tiger who is closed inside the cage is not able to go outside of the cage, but he can only stare with his shiny eyes, and he can look very seriously and attentively towards the shining stars. So this was the last stanza, students. And if you feel any difficulty anywhere, you may ask me, no problem. I will teach you once again, no problem. So students, today I'll send you question answers of the poem Fire and Ice. Additional question answers. I've taught you the poem Fire and Ice, and if you have written the question answers of the poem Fire and Ice, then once again you need not to write. If you have written the question answers, then again you need not to write. But if you haven't write, then please write all the question answers I will send you today of the poem Fire and Ice. Additional question answers. These question answers are very important, and students also learn the question answers at your home according to your intellectual status. I'm not making it hard and fast to any student that learn all the question answers of all the lessons I have taught you in a day only, and this is not possible. But that slow and steady wins the race. If you learn the answers according to your intellectual status, 2 answers, 3 answers, 4 answers in a day, then surely your study will be very perfect, and then surely you can secure very well marks in English. So students, once again, also listen very attentively at the question answers I have sent to you. Please write all the question answers in your fair notebook and send me only when your homework is completed. Send me only when your homework is completed. Please don't send me incomplete work. Okay, so no problem. I am not making it hard and fast. You just send me all the question answers today or tomorrow, but you need to write all the question answers in your fair notebook. If you write the question answers in your fair notebook, then only you can learn. And if you learn, then only you will secure very well marks. Okay, so students, these were the 5 stanzas of the poem A Tiger in the Zoo. And now I want to ask you a question. Students, that the meaning of brilliant is shiny, as you told me. The meaning of brilliant is shiny. Brilliant eyes means shiny eyes. Brilliant stars means shiny stars. So if you have your book, then you can see the first stanza. He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage on pairs of velvet quiet in his quiet race. In this stanza, there is a word, and the word is just a synonym of the word brilliant. Brilliant means shiny, and there is a word in the first stanza, and the meaning of that word is also shiny. Can you tell me what is the word that is used in the first stanza? If you have your book, then only you can reply and over there. So please don't be negligent and take keen interest in your study. So please, students, send me your answer. And very good. Nandini Kumar, Ahana, Divyanshi Negi, Priyanshu Kumar, Aisa Aswal, Ahana, Srishti Mimansa, Aanchal Negi, Rahul Rana, Vinod Bhatt, Pinky Rana. Ahana, 3rd time. No, only 1 time. Please tell me your answer. Okay. Rakesh Prasad, Anima, Smriti Saha, Rahul Rana, Rishabh Juyal, Anushka Rana, Shivam Pamar, Divyanshu Rawat, Karan Pokhriyal, Amisha Rana, and several other students are sending me answers, and your answer is absolutely correct. Priyank Saplial and so many other students are sending me answers. So students, the word is vivid. V-I-V-I-D. V-I-V-I-D. Vivid. Vivid means shiny. He stalks in his vivid stripes. Stripes means long and narrow lines of color that are in the tiger's body, and these stripes are very vivid. Vivid means shiny. So students, if you listen very attentively, it will help you in 2 ways. In the first way, you will be able to understand the meaning of the explanation very well. That will help you to secure very well marks in the examinations that will be conducted by the school, or examination that will be conducted by the board by the end of the session. And also, if you listen very attentively, and if you make everything clear to you in your mind, then this is the opportunity only to learn new and more things. So students, don't miss this chance. Once again, I will ask you a question. In the second stanza, He should be lurking in shadow. Lurking, L-U-R-K. Can you tell me what is the meaning of lurk? L-U-R-K. He should be lurking in shadow. What is the meaning of lurk? If you listened attentively yesterday. If you don't know, no problem. I will tell you the correct answer. And can you tell me? He should be lurking in shadow. Actually, in the second stanza, the poet mentions about a tiger who is absolutely free in the forest, and a tiger who is absolutely free in the forest is lurking. Lurking, very good. Lurking means you replied and your answer is hidden in shadow. Hidden, hidden, hidden. Okay, hidden, you can say hidden. Lurk means to wait very secretly and silently before attacking. Before attacking. So that is the nature of the tiger, or that is the nature of the hunting animals. Not only the nature of the tiger, that is the nature of the hunting animals. They lurk. They lurk means they wait very secretly and silently before attacking. Lurk means to wait very secretly and silently before attacking. Now, students, my another question is, you know that in this poem, the poet mentions about two types of tigers. Number one, a tiger who is captured in a cage in the zoo, and number two, a tiger who lives in the forest. Can you tell me in a sentence only? Can you tell me what is the difference between two types of tigers? What is the difference between two types of tigers? What do you think? What is the difference between them? A tiger who is captured in the cage and a tiger who is in the forest. What is the difference between them? Can you tell me? Now send me your answer if you know. If you know, send me your answer. Okay? If you know the answer, please send me. And you need to write a sentence only. You need to write you need not to write a paragraph. You need to write a sentence only, because you know that in this poem the poet mentions about two types of tigers. So what is the difference between them? No, I didn't find any answer. So no problem. Students, the only difference is that a tiger who is captured in the cage, his freedom is restricted. His freedom is restricted. Amisha Rana, Divyanshu Rawat, and so many other students you have sent me answers. You know, an absolutely correct answer. Other students are also sending answers. Absolutely correct. A tiger who is captured in the zoo, his freedom is completely restricted. He is not free. Very simply, he is not free to move anywhere, to jump anywhere, to attack any wild animal. He is not free. And on the contrary, a tiger who lives in the forest, he is absolutely free. He is free. He is free. A tiger who is in the forest, but a tiger who is inside the cage is not free. That is the answer. My students, you know that today I taught you the fourth stanza. His strength behind bars, but he is locked in a concrete cell. Can you tell me what is the meaning of cell? Can you tell me what is the meaning of cell? And behind bars, what is the meaning of bars? But he is locked in a concrete cell and his strength behind bars. Actually, in this stanza, the poet mentions about a tiger who is locked inside the cage. So, what is the meaning of cell and what is the meaning of bars? Can you tell me? Okay, some of the students are sending answers. Cell means a small room in the prison, a small room in the prison for prisoners. But here, cell means cage. Cell means cage here. Okay. And bars means jail. Bars, jail, or prison. So, students, that is the time when my clock is asking me to take a leave of you. Thank you and take care of yourself. Okay. Thank you, students.